Hello interwebs, welcome to Let's Fix Computers. I'm aware this isn't a computer, this is a DJI Spark drone, and as you can see it's not looking very happy. This was brought in by a local lad who obviously got it for Christmas, and unfortunately on either his first or second outing with it, he came a bit of a cropper and crashed it onto a rooftop. He managed to recover it, but unfortunately, as you can see, it's a bit bashed up. I don't know anything about drones. I've never flown one. I don't know anything about them, but I thought, how hard can it be? Parts for this thing seem to be readily available. So what I did was I jumped online, did some searching about, and found that in order to deal with this broken arm, I bought, I think this was called a shell. So this whole chassis is known as a replacement shell. And as you can see, it's more or less basically just the entire bottom end of the drone. So basically what we have to do is gut this thing out and put everything that's in there into here, and we should be fine. We've got a few bits that could be a little bit tricky. We've got to transfer these motors across, and this thing is pre-wired, but we've got to solder the wires into place, so I'm not sure how challenging that will be. So we'll figure that out as we go, basically. So yeah, full disclosure, as I say, I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm making this up as I go along. I figured, how hard can it be? So let's find out. Okay, so let's get started on this thing. It's got screws on the bottom. Those are hexagonal, but they'll probably answer to Torx screws. These hex screws normally do. What's that? That's a T6. Let's try that. That feels pretty good. Some of these T6 screws look like they've been filled with epoxy, which is a bit of a dick move. That could be an issue. That's very much going to be an issue. We're going to have to dig those out. Okay. Can I get the ones down the side of the camera? Yeah, I think we can get those. Let's get the easy ones first. Don't know much about drones, as I mentioned. This all feels very self-leveling and anti-vibration and stuff like that. This thing is, while I was looking around, I think this thing retails at like, $250 to $300. It's like £270, that kind of thing. I think it seems to be not bad, but as I say, I don't know much about drones, so I don't know if this thing is actually any good or not. It looks quite nice though. I would like to have a go with one. Right, I'm just going to use this cheapo Phillips screwdriver I've got here just to dig about in the screw head, and I can just dig out some of that epoxy glue stuff that's in there. And if I can just butcher that enough, oh, that's coming out quite nicely actually, and I should be able to go in there with the proper screwdriver. That might just give me enough clearance. Yeah, easy peasy. I don't know why they bother. Anyone with an ounce of common sense can get through that kind of security. Dunzo. Alright, does this top cover come off now? Yep, that seems to be unclipping. Not going without a fight, I can tell you that much. There we go. Wow, look at that. That's fancy, isn't it? It's got a cooling fan in it and everything. So, someone who knows more about drones than I do would probably be able to go, oh yes, that's this, that and the other, but I don't have a clue what any of this is. Let's have a look. So we've got a dedicated DJI chipset there. This is all sealed cans. It's all multi-layered. So there's probably, that cooling is all over there. So there's probably some kind of central processor. This thing has multiple sensors and cameras in. It looks like we've got something forward facing there that's going through this smoked lens at the front. We've got the dual cameras. We've got a movable camera there and another camera there, and there's some more sensors in here. So this thing has a huge number of sensors on it, which might seem really obvious to someone. I tell you what, if someone knows what any of these are, tell me about it in the comments, because I don't know what any of this does. I don't know what features this has, and it'd be interesting to know. I'm very interested in drones, but I haven't had the money to look into it properly. Okay, I'm going to stop trying to guess because I have no idea what it is. Let's just start taking everything out. So I'm just going to start undoing screws, basically. I'm going to be doing a very blind approach to this. And thankfully, because I record my work, if I get a bit stuck as to where something came from, I'll be able to review my footage. I need to go and grab the correct screwdriver. Okay, let's start taking bits off. Got a little connector there? Yep. This video is probably going to be hideously long. Okay, right. Now, I bet these screws are going to be quite varied, so I'm going to try and plan my screws out. I'm going to try and make a little matching screw map up here. I don't know how well that'll go, but we'll find out. I just try and lay out all the screws roughly where they came from, along with all these little fittings and stuff. Right, I think this small circuit board does come off. I was going to see if I could take off the sort of subframe that it was on, but that doesn't seem to want to happen, so we'll take these ones out as well. Cool. No wonder this thing was expensive. There seems to be a huge amount of technology. Oh, that's part of the whole heatsink. No wonder that didn't want to come off. Okay. Yeah, there seems to be a huge amount of technology crammed into these things. It's quite amazing. I think the first thing we're going to be doing is taking off this cooling system that's on top. That is such an adorable little fan. I love it. No, that screw is not magnetic. And that came from there. Right, are we getting anywhere? Now, of course, I'm not doing a teardown here, so theoretically, if something doesn't have to come off, I don't want to take it off. For example, if I don't actually have to remove this heatsink from the board, then I won't. Because I just need to lift the guts out. That's all I need. We've got some interconnects there that are going down to other places. Let's pull them out. How do those work? That looks like a lift jobby. Yep. That's fine. These little clips, these are the scary bits to me, because if I break one of these, then I've had it. So I'm trying to be a bit careful as to see how they work. I think that one's going to be a lifter as well. Let's just try having a go at the corner of that. Yes. Oh, that's a weird little connector, that is. I don't like these connectors one bit. Those are all really weird connectors that I've never seen before. Laptops, they're all zero insertion force, but these are all like click jobbies. I'm not sure why they're opting for that. That seems rather excessive, but I guess they know more about designing these things than I do. Got a water sensor there to see if it's plummeted into water. That's not hiding a screw. Ah, that's the other end of that. Huh, okay. Now this one here is secured with Solastic. I'm just going to see if I can just sort of rip that guy out. No, can I pull this elastic out? Not sure about that. Let's just try sneaking the prime tool. No, that's not going to fit. I need a flathead. How about you? There we go. That's working. Let's do that from the other end. Cool. Right, this is all still very firm. So let's take out that screw. And I'm kind of hoping that at some point soon things are going to feel like they're moving. Oh, we've got another connector there. Let's take this screw out and then we'll get that connector. And then that, I think, will be everything that I can see. Oh, everything just went a little bit loose after I took that one out. Yeah, there we go. We're getting somewhere. I think this has to come out first. Is that another pad or is that part of the connector? It's a pad, but that's on the connector. I think I'm going to lift that with... where's my straight screwdriver? Let's take that off. Yeah, there's two there. Nope, my fingernail isn't strong enough. Prime tool. Yeah, they really want to make sure that none of these connectors jump out after a hard landing, which is completely understandable. Okay, right, that's that. I think we might be able to sneak this out. There we go. Is anything holding on? Nope, that's it. There we go. Wow, look at that. It's all one complete unit. This is quite heavy, this bit. Absolute unit. So the main connector comes up from that guy there. I'm surprised by how little sort of power handling there is here. I was expecting to see sort of a fairly chunky power connector, but I guess all the high current stuff is all to the motors. And it looks like all the current handling is done down in here. And that doesn't need to come out because we've got one of those in the replacement shell. So yeah, no worries there. So yeah, we've got to dig in and get all this out. Cool, okay, let's put that main circuit board to one side. I might, no, I'm not going to put whatever this guy is. I'm not going to put that back on yet because, oh, that doesn't obstruct anything. That can just go back on now. I'm going to refit that because this didn't need to come out. Where's its little doodad? That goes there. That goes on there. That goes to there. I'm just going to put the screws for that back in because that will take 4 screws and a bracket out of my little nest of bits and pieces. Okay, right, so that's to one side. Oh, hang on a sec. Where was that? Where did that little bracket go? That went across there. Okay, this bracket that went across there, that's holding some stuff on, like the connector under there, so that stays off. But we've taken 4 screws out of the pile, that's good. Right. So let's just do a quick comparison with the other shell. So that's complete. That unhooks from there by the looks of things. There we go, that's that. Antennas, that's there. So basically everything from the back end to the middle is complete now. So we need this assembly going up to the front and then the camera assembly down the bottom. And oh, I see, that comes out and the sensors are all part of it. Okay, cool. Right, let's get this bit out. I'm going to bend that up. That's just tin. This looks like a grounding strap. That's just attaching the ground from that circuit board to the ground of the other circuit board. So, not super critical. Right, okay, some stuff is pulling out here. What's coming with it? Quite a lot wants to come out here. I'm not sure that's ready to come out. I think we've got to take out this front board first. I'm going to do that. This isn't too bad so far. I haven't hit anything that's made me go, whoa, or anything, you know. I mean, I'm taking it slow and steady, and I'm being very careful. But I don't feel like I'm out of my depth yet. Whereas, you know, there are some disassemblies I do where I just feel really uncomfortable with what I'm doing. Wow, look at that. Oh, I want to know what these are. I want to know what it all does. It looks fantastic. I don't know what features this drone even has. Like, are these range-finding sensors? I don't know. Drones are cool, and I don't know anything about them. This is going to be a terrible video if you want to learn about drones. However, if you've got a DJI Spark and you've broken an arm on it, then this is probably extremely useful. Okay, right. This whole thing is on a shake mount, and this is all like a scaffold with the camera dangling underneath it. And it goes up to there, which has a rubber mount. How does that come out? Firstly, I'm going to have a quick look to see what stays in. So you can see we've got that hook mount there. So that grommet needs to go through the hole. So let's just see if I can push that through. Tweezers. Ah, there we go. Oh, the tweezers just made that a breeze. Get some tweezers. Is there anything else holding that on? Oh, the camera. Oh no, here we go. It's coming out. It's coming out. Here we go. Here we go. Look at that guy. Fancy schmancy. So it's got like a control board there. Then this whole thing is sitting on like rubber mounts, so it jiggles. And it's all shock mounted and vibration proof. So that's how you get such a steady shot from it. And presumably this is articulating and everything. Very cool. It's amazing that these are affordable by the common man. Right, and we've got some more sensors down here. Let's undo this guy. Okay, I see what's happening. We've got a flex that comes up here, along there, and round, and up to this bit here. So we've got to unthread that without damaging it. Now, usually you can peel this, but I'm going to be very, very careful about that. That's screwed in down there. Let's take those screws out. I'm just trying not to let my hands get in the way, that's the problem. Okay, we've got a pair of IR looking sensors there. And the bottom camera down there, that doesn't want to jump out. I need that to come out. Oh, there we go. Okay, that's all loose there now. It's held in just by this flex coming down here. Let me get my hand on that. I think I can. And I'm just going to gently pull that up. There we go. And this does a bit of origami for this turn here. If you look under that flex, what's actually happening there, it comes under, folds, and then goes around a 90-degree bend. That's a very strange maneuver, but I guess that's what they thought would work. So I'm just going to very gently peel this off the base. And we need to get clear of these cables. I'm very tempted to cut these wires, because we don't need this base. I just don't really want to cut anything if I don't have to. No, I'm going to cut that. This whole base is £20, so it doesn't really matter. There we go. Look at all that clearance I just achieved. And I might do the same thing with the antenna as well. Oh, it breaks my heart to cut wires like that. I really don't like doing that, but I've just got to remind myself we don't need that. It's in the other shell. Okay, let's just peel this back. Oh, these cables go off in such strange directions. But that comes back and then rejoins. What a bizarre layout. Why is it like that? Okay, I think I've got it all. There we go. Okay, so that was down the bottom. Yeah, so that was kind of sitting like that. Cool. Right, and I think that's our lot. We need to recover the motors as well. I don't know if you call these motors. I would say they're motors, engines, whatever. Okay, let's take a look at this one. So I can cut these wires, which means I can take a closer look at this engine and see how it works and how it falls out. Let's put the old body to one side. Right, what does this do? Does this open? That just seems to be a landing skid. Does that pop open? I'm not sure. Where's the replacement? Right, there are screws there. Okay, this bottom bit must come off. Oh, there we go. Ooh, look at that. Fancy. So we've got some lights there, and quite a lot of circuitry in there. There's a lot more than I thought there would be. Okay. So so that's how it does its signaling lights. Cool. I'll give you a close-up of that. So as you can see, there's actually quite a lot going on in here. We've got some active circuits down there to control the LED. We've got power coming in. We've got positive and negative, and I can't read what that is. Is that TA? Yeah, TX, transmission. So it says so it's a transmission signal. And so presumably this thing has a decoder in it, which is then going up to those 3 pins up there, CBA. Those will be going to the motor itself to control the motor, because it's a stepper motor. So it moves in very weird ways. And yeah, the rest of it is all just control circuitry. So we'll take these 2 screws out and we should be able to disassemble this so we can transfer it over to the new one. I'll have a sneaky little peek under here. Yeah, there's some kind of processor or something there. I'm going to leave that well alone, I think. Okay, so we're going to need to desolder these incoming wires. And we need to remove these 3 screws in order to remove the motor. Oh, God heavens. Okay, yeah, and we also need to desolder the motor itself in order to remove it from the broken bit. This is quite involved. Considering this is very breakable, I'm surprised that replacing a motor is this much hassle. We'll take out those screws first and just make sure there's not a plug on the other side or something like that. I'm surprised that it's that difficult. For a part that is right in the firing line and liable to get damaged, I expected that to come apart easier than this. No, there's nothing coming out from there. Cool. Okay, right. Let's pull those screws out and put them safely to one side, because I'm going to need them. Okay, and we're going to fire up the soldering iron and desolder this little controller board. And we're going to have to do this for another 3 motors. Gosh, truth. I was not... This is definitely a lot more involved than I was expecting it to be. Right, soldering iron time. For my soldering iron, I'm going straight to my TS100 for this, which is a precision soldering iron with a knife edge tip on it. I'm not going to mess around with my wet soldering iron, which is my daily. I need something with a lot of control for this. I don't want to mess it up. You probably could do this with a basic soldering iron. Where's my wet? There we go. I could probably get on, yeah, we could get onto there with the wet soldering iron, but I'm going to use the TS100 because it's more apt for this. So let's get some power onto it. Okay, right, iron's a little slow to warm up. I think my battery's low. We might have to switch over to the bench power supply. And let's just see if we can just rip this apart. Got one off. The other two holding on because of the Celastic. I think they are. I'm going to give that one more try, then we're going to have to dig them out just to be safe. There's another one. And there's the last one. There we go. We'll clean up all these solder joints in a moment. Any damage to those wires? Nope, that's fine. And that's our motor free. I should have been a bit more careful with those actually, because I don't get another chance with this motor. Those lines are just falling off. Okay, I'm going to put that in the helping hands and clean it up. And now I'm just going to take off all this old solder with some solder wick here, and we'll put down some nice fresh leaded stuff. There's a lot of extra solder on these. They really blobbed it up. That'll do it. Okay, let's turn this around and do the other side. I hope I'm not overheating this board because I am putting heat onto it. That'll do. That's enough that I can get the wires back in again. Right, okay, so we'll do a test run by trying to fit this motor into the new body. And if that goes well, then I know I'm doing it right and we can go on and do the rest of it. Okay. So here's the new body. Where's the... How did that all work? That went in like that-ish. That was like that. Okay. Let's back out. Getting a bit cluttered on my workbench here. I'm not a fan of that, but... Right, so the fan goes on... The fan? the motor goes on top. So let's thread that through. And I may as well screw that into place. Right, that's on. Oh crap. I didn't pay any attention as to which way around these wires go. I assume it goes black, red, white, but I'm actually going to have to stop recording and check that because I'm a numpty. Or, I'll tell you what else I could do is I could just look at the old one. So let's do that. I'm just going to pop off another one of these motor covers so I can check the wiring. Darn, that doesn't tell me anything. We'll go a little bit deeper. Okay, so the color goes black, red, white. White is C, red is B, and black is A. Right, this is going to be a bit of a bastard to solder on. Not much to hold on to, so we're bringing in the helping hands again. Okay, I think we've got a good enough grip there. Let's fire up the soldering iron again. Okay. Let's try tinning the lead. This whole setup is a bit horrifying. I don't like this at all. I might might just do this with 3 hands. Right, how does that look? Passable. Let's just see if I can press that in a bit. And let's just turn my heat down a bit. I don't like the amount of heat I'm using here. Drop it to 380. Ah, that kind of did the job. That's passable anyway. Right, what did I say? Red is in the middle. Let's tin that up again. Okay. There we go. All right. That was a bit nerve-wracking, but we're okay. So that's the motor wired back on. The frustrating thing about this is just this bit wasn't even broken. I had to desolder those just to move it to the new shell, and that bums me out. These ones, of course, that's fine. It's a new shell. Of course, I've got to solder those on, but it sucks that I've got to do these motor wires as well. That seems very unnecessary, but there's nothing I can do about that. And the black wires, those are not coded at all. However, I think that these motors go either direction, so I don't think it makes a difference. So yeah, either way, I'm going to assume that they are in the correct orientation because everything else seems to be. So let's try and get those guys on. Can I get those to stick in place? Because that would make my life a lot easier. Yeah, kinda. Now I just need this to stay exactly where I'm holding it, which I don't think is going to happen. Okay, let's stop trying to do 3 at a time here. No, let's abandon that. We'll just do the standard one. That's okay. Yep, okay, I think that's working. If you're wondering why I bothered removing all the previous solder, it's because I'm using leaded solder now. And leaded solder has a lower melting point, so it makes this bit easier. It makes the solder easier to work with. I'm trying not to drift off camera, but I'm more worried about getting this right than getting the perfect camera angle at the moment. Whether I will just move because I'm slowly wandering across the desk. Oh, God damn it. When I push this cable along, it just drags everything with it. No, that's not going to happen. I need a third hand. Super bad here. Come on, get in there. Get right in there. There we go. I think that'll do it. That middle one's no good. You can see that's not in properly. That needs redoing. That might be easier now the other two are in. That's better. And let's do the M one as well while we're here. Oh, there we go. Once we've got one in, the others become easier. So I can just walk those in. That's cool. Right, I'm going to flood fill those now. There we go. They had an excessive amount of solder in there, so will I. Cool. Right, that's that guy back in place. And so this should just squash down into place now. Which it does. That's cool. Can I pull that back slightly? No. Okay. I'll just let those wires squash then. that seems to be fine. Let's move the helping hands because they're not helping. I'm going to back the camera out. It's in my way. I think I put the wrong one on there. Yeah, I don't like that. That's coming off. This is the one that came off the second motor that I uncovered. I just took for granted that they were the same, but they're not. Whoa! Oh, easy. If you jump out of this screw, you'll go straight onto those circuits, so be careful. I was a little bit rough there. I haven't damaged it, but we're okay, but I need to be careful. That's fitting better. That's correct. Something didn't feel right when I was putting that in, but now I'm putting the correct one in. It actually is going in a lot better. It doesn't feel like I'm forcing it. Cool. There we go. So that's one of our rotors in position. Do they go like that? I don't know. Or do they just fling out? Either way. Whirly bird. Wow. Or more likely, blah, as they go. I don't know. Anyway, there we go. We've got a rotor on. Only 3 more to go. I've only been going for nearly an hour. Bloody hell. Part of me kind of wants to just build the rest of the drone, just so I'm visually more completed. However, at the moment, it seems a lot more sensible to do all of those motors, because these motors, this seems to be the hard bit. If there's any reason for an amateur in the audience not to try this at home, it's this bit, by a long shot. I wasn't expecting this bit, and here we are. Right, okay, I'm going to do the rest of them now, and I'm probably going to give less commentary because you've seen me do one, so let's just see if we can just zip through the rest of them. I figured I have to remove the rotor, it pushes down. I'm smart.
Life will be
Okay, that's the 4 motors done, and that was by far the hardest part of the whole job, I think. I wasn't expecting those to be that much trouble. I just assumed that these motors just snapped out, that they'd have some pogo pins underneath them or something like that. But yeah, don't know. I guess as I've said repeatedly, I don't know anything about drones. This one is obviously a consumer drone. It's not a turbo performance aftermarket thing. I assume the aftermarket ones are a bit more modular than this, but meh. Anyway, we've got it done. We've got 4 motors. I'm fairly confident that they're all going to work. Hopefully I'll be able to test this because it's one of these control it from your phone jobbies, I believe. So let's start putting in all the internal components now. So we'll start with those sensors that were buried down the bottom. And let's see if I can remember how this all goes together now. I've got to take that cap off. There we go. This bit feels good now because all of a sudden I'm now taking bits off of the bench, and the amount of clutter and all the bits and screws on the bench in front of me are now dwindling. They're going down instead of going up, and that feels good. It feels like the end is in sight, which on a big repair like this, where you've kind of been making it up as you go, it's very, very relieving when you see the part count going down. There we go, and I've bullied those wires into place. Just about, I think. That'll do. None of this was a super tight fit. It seems to be reasonably forgiving, so I'm fairly happy with this. I tell you what I'm not happy with though. Those screws aren't supposed to be in there yet. Which is mildly concerning because it means I don't know. Oh yeah, that's fine. I've got 2 extra screws because the shell came, this cover that I'm putting in now, I've got an extra one of those that came with the shell. So that explains why I have some extra screws. Okay, that's the lower sensors in place. Now the main camera goes in. Just nudge that through its opening in the front. There we go. And now I've got to negotiate all the wires around it. Oh man, I've got to get this grommet through that very small hole as well. This bit is not going to be fun. There's probably a way of doing this, and I have no idea what it is. Can I just get one bit up and then feed the rest through? Can you guys even see what I'm doing? Okay, let's try a different approach. Let's try squashing the top part. The actual rubber is very soft and squidgy, but because I can't get underneath it, I can't do anything. I wonder. Let me just... Would this be easier if I did it from the other point? Does the shock mount come off at the other end? It does. There's an easy way of doing this. There we go. I've taken that rubber mount off of the actual sway bar, as I'll call it. So now I've got something that I can hold in my hand, and I'm actually going to remove this again. Wrestle you back out with a bit of brute force and ignorance. There we go. Now I've got much more clearance to be able to get this thing in. Well, I'm still none the wiser as to how to do it. Ah, there we go. Okay, I didn't do a very good job showing you that, but what I did... So I used my angled tweezers to squidge the thing flat, pushed it up, and then I just managed to get my fingernails on and just pull it through. Because it's very soft and squidgy, that wasn't too much of a headache to do. So yeah, have fun with that, guys. I'm sorry I can't give you any more help at all there. Right, now I've got to get the mount back onto the metal bar. This is going to be a bit fun. That's one side. The other side is harder because there's a little shutter there, blinker. This is taxing. I can't get the light where I need it. There we go. No idea if you guys saw what happened then. I just grabbed it and just grossly stretched it around that little T-piece. Don't know if you saw it or not, but it's in. Phew. Alright, 4 screws. Right, there we go. That's the main camera in place. On his little wobble mount. Jiggle, jiggle. Okay. Front piece. And with that, we're ready for the main board. I think everything else went across the main board. Must have. Right, this isn't exactly just dropping in, but it does press down to the screw stops without significant force, and everything is aligned. So that's good enough for me. I'm going to put in some guide screws. So I'll put in a couple of easy ones just to keep it all in place. And by a couple, I mean one. Phew. And let's grab my nice tweezers. And we'll reconnect everything. This one isn't self-locating. Normally these push connectors, you can just kind of get them roughly in place and they'll just push down. This one doesn't want to do that, and I can't see where it goes. Quite far back is the answer to that. There we go, got it. Right, now we're going to put in all the little fittings and stuff. So I'll do my best to replace all of these pads. These pads do two jobs. They provide grounding interface for shielding and stuff like that, and they also serve to press down on these connectors and stop these connectors from jumping out. Alright, let's put some screws into those. And some of my screws have gone out of order, so I may do a little bit of backing and forthing here. Ah, balls. I keep forgetting that some of these screws aren't magnetic and one just fell off the screwdriver. Interesting part about running a computer shop is every time you drop a screw and you bend down to the floor to pick it up, you find another screw that you think, oh, I was looking for that one. I'm going to hold on to that one in case I need it again. It's a treasure trove. Damn it. Arrgh. Let's take off the magnet. It's not helping me right now. There we go. This thing's looking a lot more like a drone. I think that's all right. And that would have been like there. Okay, I've run out of bits. So, whenever you're putting together something complicated like this, remember, don't look at what's in there, look at what you have left on your bench. And what I have left on my bench are the case screws. I've got the 2 extra screws that came with this cover, which was also a spare. Those are some bits of old wire. I've got the 2 props that were still on it, and that's it. I've run out of parts, which means everything must be in there. Cautionary tale of when I used to fix phones back in the day, and I spent a great deal of time putting an iPhone 3GS back together, only to find that I'd left the battery out. Because I was too busy focusing on what I'd put into the phone that I neglected to see that there was a battery still on the table. Therefore, I had not put the battery in. So yeah, cool. All right, let's put the cover on. Right, case screws. Bam! Let's get the battery out of the box. Alright, this battery doesn't have a lot of charge in it, but hopefully it's got enough to just sort of turn on and prove that it works. And I'm going to grab the old shell because it's actually got the connection information for this. Where's my phone? Right, unfortunately, there. Right, testing it is a bust. I don't have the remote control for this. I was hoping I could connect to it with my phone because it broadcasts a Wi-Fi network and stuff like that. But it looks like that is just for monitoring. It doesn't actually allow you to do any kind of control of the device. So I'll have to call the client in and say, can you bring in your controller so we can turn it on and just basically make sure that the motors spin. That's what I care about. But all the connections are good. So to the best of my knowledge, this fella should be absolutely fine now. But other than that, thank you very much. I'll see you all next time. Goodbye for now.